Welcome back to our zoning hearing. This is a zoning hearing for CZ2024-01. Roll call, please.
Michael?
Yes?
Shrewsbury?
Yes.
Stamaka?
Yes.
Thank you. We won't have you will have the staff report.
Do you want to get up? Or
You don't have to.
So the first application we're hearing tonight is, our first hearing is for CZ 2024-01. This is a zoning map amendment for tax parcels 110-002130, 2123, 2128, 0699, 0506. The reason for the map amendment is currently there is no zoning district designation for these parcels. So what zoning does, to give you some background, or to provide some background, it protects the public health and welfare, promotes community character by organizing land into clearly defined districts based on the type and intensity of use. This separation of use allows communities and individual neighborhoods to regulate growth and development and preserve community character. Since these parcels currently aren't zoned pursuant to our zoning resolution, section 200.12, they default to a rural zoning district. That being said, the surrounding areas is all commercial, and where this is located is just north of Emmerich Road, meaning that what could go there essentially right now would be agriculture. It doesn't quite fit the district, so in order to bring it into compliance to keep like uses together, it was brought before the Zoning Commission on September 17th to discuss changing the zoning district. They voted to make a recommendation to you as the trustees to bring it into a community service district, which is what the area south of this area is. Give us an idea of where the location is. It is just west of the 270 on-ramp and then just north of Emmerich Road, and north of Westerville Premier Storage, if you know where that is. So by updating this to a community service district, again, keep like uses together and a better fit for the land that's currently there. Also had a gentleman reach out asking to do some updates to his facility, but currently the zoning doesn't allow for it since it is rural. So Zoning Commission made a recommendation to use the trustees to approve the change to a community service district.
My understanding that's more industrial in that location?
Yes. So community service allows for things like automobile sales, gas stations, retail, a lot of other commercial uses similar to shopping centers, that kind of thing. So more of a business use, commercial use, not industrial so much, more commercial, I guess, is the best fit for
retail?
it. Yes, retail.
Okay, so before I read the motion, do you have any comments or any other questions on this?
I did. I had a chance to talk to both Adam and council, and they answered all my questions, so I'm okay.
Before you make the motion, the public has a chance to speak. If anybody wants to speak
Okay.
on it, they should be able to.
Okay, so we do have, in a zoning hearing, we have public comment where you have the opportunity to speak. If anybody has questions, now would be the time, or comments. Anybody? No? Okay, thank you. All right, you ready for the... On September 17th, 2024, the Blendon Township Zoning Commission held a public hearing and recommended approval of zoning amendment number CZ2024-01. Do I have a motion from the board to adopt, deny, or adopt with modifications the recommendation of the Blendon Township Zoning Commission, zoning amendment number CZ2024-01, or a request to amend the zoning map to rezone certain parcels within Blendon Township and to enact the appropriate resolution to adopt, deny, or adopt with modifications? So do I have a motion from the board?
Yes, I will make a motion to adopt zoning amendment CZ 2024-01.
I'll second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor and seconded to adopt the zoning amendment number CZ 2024-01. discussion?
No.
Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Nichol?
Yes?
Shidaberry?
Yes.
Diamaco?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, that zoning hearing is adjourned, and now I will call to order the zoning hearing CZ 2024-02. Roll call, please.
Nichol?
Yes?
Shidaberry?
Yes.
Diamaco?
Yes.
And Adam, you can explain for us.
So the next amendment is CZ 2024-02. This is a zoning text amendment. There's a couple of different text amendments within this proposed change. First one is for section 110.41. Section 110.41, non-conforming lots, sets the parameters for how Blendon Township regulates development of structures on lots that were platted and legally buildable prior to the adoption of Blendon Township's zoning resolution in 2013 and currently do not conform with the resolution's current lot size standards. The main area that this would affect would be the Cleveland Heights area of the township, because there are many non-conforming lots there. They were platted back in 1924, and they don't meet the current width standard of 60 feet. Currently, they're 40 feet. So what this text amendment would do would allow, if someone owned a single parcel in Cleveland Heights that was 40 feet and didn't own a lot to the right or left and couldn't combine lots to conform to our zoning standards, this would allow them to build as long as all of their other building requirements were met, such as setbacks, building height, all that, as far as our zoning resolution goes. But additionally, what it would do is if someone did own multiple lots together, the zoning text would also consider them to own one lot and force them to combine the lots in a way that would conform to their zoning resolution. Reason this change came about is because there's currently a lot of interest to develop in that area, and there's been multiple instances where people have come to the Board of Zoning Appeals asking for a variance from section 110.41 to build on a single lot of 40 feet. And when it's a situation where they can't build on the property to the right or to the left, it's almost always approved based on the factors that the BZA has to consider when approving a variance. It's almost like their hands are tied because zoning can't render a property worthless. And by saying, no, you can't build, there's conceivably nothing else they could do with the property. So this is kind of a solution that a lot of other townships and places have adopted into their resolution, saying, yes, we'll allow you to build on a non-conforming lot since this was prior to our zoning resolution to alleviate the hardship. But if you own multiple lots together and can conceivably and easily combine lots, you have to. So that's the first zoning text amendment. The second one is for section 332.49, the community service building height requirement. Currently, there is no building height requirement for a community service district. The zoning commission decided that 40 feet would be an appropriate maximum building height for our maximum height requirements for community service. Reason we wanted to bring this change before the Board of Trustees is because without that requirement, someone could conceivably come and say, I bought this property, I would like to build a skyscraper here in the middle of Blendon Township, and there's nothing we can do, since it's not currently in our zoning resolution. And then lastly is section 810.4 would be is to add the area variance criteria to our zoning resolution. Currently, we have the use variance standards, but our zoning text is missing the area variance. Difference being is for a use variance, if someone came and said they wanted to put like a car lot in the middle of a residential area, we would say no, and they could apply for what's called a use variance. And it's a very high standard, and it's impossible to be granted. So if someone came and applied for use variance, it would most likely be denied because the standards are so high, because the route that they should be taking is a rezoning for the zoning commission and ultimately the Board of Trustees, but it is an avenue that is available to people. Area variances are a little different. They come about when someone's lot can't conform in some way, shape, and they need to vary from our zoning resolution, so it's an avenue they can take to go before our Board of Zoning Appeals. They can hear their variance requests and ultimately approve it. What this is doing is just providing those criteria to people. If they come to us and say, we would like a variance, I can point them to the zoning resolution and say, here are the standards by which the Board of Zoning Appeals will judge your variance request. If you can meet most of these or all these standards and make a case, there's a good chance for it. So it's really just a housekeeping addition to the application. So,
Okay. And again, because this is a public zoning hearing, you have the opportunity to ask questions or make comments if you wish to. Now is the time allotted for that. Anybody? Okay. Sometimes when we have the hearings, the individual that wants to build is present, and that's when you would see them have questions, so. All right.
I have, before we get in motion, I have one thing I'd like him to clarify, if that's good.
Mhm.
Very good explanations, thank you. Could you just clarify, whether or not that the first section that you were talking about, is that only good for the current owners, or could a current owner sell a 40-foot frontage lot and the second owner be able to build on it?
so if the lot stays the same, if they don't combine lots, if it's just that single lot that's been there since 1924, and they sell the lot and somebody buys just that single lot, if they apply for a certificate of zoning compliance, it meets all our rules and regulations for setbacks and all that, they would be granted the certificate of zoning compliance without having to go before the ZBA.
So it's not just current owners?
Yes.
No, so it's, as long as that land stays that way, but again, we would encourage them to make conforming lots, to bring them in to conforming, but you can't force someone to